Hello and welcome back to yet another video. And today we're going to do something a little bit different than what I normally do. Today we're going to be ranking the Chris Chan trolls. So if you don't know who Chris Chan is, probably best keep it that way. But if you do, well, let's get straight into it. So starting off, we have the man himself, Liquid Chris. If you know who he is, know why he's going in S tier. This man played Chris, and he did himself better. He managed to make a Chris that was better than Chris, and then somehow out Chris at the same time. Plus, he kind of gets a happy ending, unlike most other trolls. So, whatever. Next, we have Megan Schroeder. Now, I'm kind of debated on where to put her because on the one hand, she isn't actually a troll, but on the other hand, her impact is kind of one of the most important. She serves as one of the most important characters in Christery. So I'm gonna put her at. Literally had no idea who he was because she did really have an idea of who he became. So, alright, then we got Matthew, who is obviously Casey's dad. So if I remember correctly, this is actually played by Liquid Chris himself. So I'm gonna give him an A tier. We don't really hear from him much, but what he does do, he does kind of. If you listen to his call, it's very funny because he just shoots down everything Chris says. Next we got Mr. Mr. Clyde Cash. As you know, if you know Christery, he is probably the man behind it all. So, S tier, because he haunts Chris throughout his entire life. Fairly certain, even while in prison, Chris thinks of him. Jimmy Hill. Now, most people in Christery do forget who Jimmy Hill was because he did play a small part. Long story short, trolls made it seem like he copied Sonichu and was making it like a version over here in Britain. So obviously, Chris being Chris, this infuriated him. So he had no idea who he was. Adam Stackhouse, pretty similar in regards that he had no idea who he was. Pretty much there was a Parappa the Rapper contest. Chris entered, horrible, and Adam Stackhouse won pretty convincingly. By the way, his video was very good. I think you can still watch it. Mary Lee Walsh again. Jesus, it's like 4 in a row. She's still being mentioned by Chris. If you look at the recent documentary, you can see that he's forgiven her. Years later, after their incident at the college campus, which is really insane when you think about it. Michael Snyder, I'm gonna have to put him at. B because on the one hand, you might put him in this tier because he didn't really talk to Chris that much. But from every interaction we've had, he is just the kryptonite of Chris. He just, Chris uses tactics to try to get back into the gameplay, but Michael Snyder just shoots him down every time, and it's beautiful. They've just got the Team Troon squad, C tier. I mean, they just played Chris, pretend to be friends. It's just not really good. Jeff Uzu, Francine, don't really remember them, but I do think they're the trans couple, so I'm going to put them at C tier as well. Because it's like that. Catherine, fake love, because she's a fake love. Blanca Weiss, of course, fake love. Now, this part isn't really categorized, it's just generalized because there's so many of them. As you can see, Jesus Christ. An interesting choice, we got Chris Chan. Himself's troll. I'm going to put him at S tier. As much as you don't like him, we all have to admit, it's mostly his fault all of this happened. If he just shut up, everything would have been fine. Ivy, fake love. Jackie, fake love. Jessica, fake love. Probably one of my favorites. Casey, fake love. My favorite. My favorite, no doubt about it. You got Sarah Jackson. I think I remember her. Fake love as well, I think. Panda Halo was a fake love, but I'm going to put them in. No, fake love, yeah. Of course, fake love. Null, I don't like at all, so I'm going to put him in C tier, because it's in my opinion that the whole reason, the whole multiverse fucking Sonichu marriage thing happened, it's all starts from him. Of course, then you'll see who would really start from later on, but let's not get into that. Bella, D tier. In my opinion, it's all her fault. The whole Barb incident did happen, so I blame her for that. Blue Spike, oh, Jesus Christ. If you listen to that call that Blue Spike had with all the other trolls, where managed to get Chris to like shove the Sonichu medallion, up his ass. It's just horrifying. Blue Spike managed to, turn all the trolls pretty much against him because he made all of them realize this kid's sadistic. The idea, guys, probably as bad as Null. No, worse than Null, actually. These are the biggest perpetrators of the multiverse thing. It is my honest opinion, these are probably one of the worst trolls next to Bella. Wes, don't really remember him that much, so I'll say C tier. Ben Saint, same thing. Jason Kendrick Howell, I do think I do remember him, so I'll put him in C tier. There might be a lot of C tiers, but these are just people who are like average. Jacob Sockness, I think, if I remember correctly, he was trying to be a like mini Liquid, so put him in B tier next to Robert. Vivian G, I have to put Vivian G in A tier. Vivian G has probably been around, just as long as Clyde Cash, so there's that history behind them. Then we got Pmert. I just like him because just look at him. He's fucking Trump. Jenkins Jinkies. Oh my god. This, if you don't know who this was Chris's attempt to infiltrate the troll server. So he put a towel over his head and then pretended to be someone else, and he insulted himself. It's just classic Chris Chan behavior. I'm probably gonna put Chris Chan himself. I'll put him in B, because it's obvious who it is. Billy Mays, S tier. Don't even need to. It's Billy Mays. Now, Miyamoto, I'm gonna put in B tier. No, actually A tier, because it's the fact that they managed to pull Chris along to think that he could make Sonichu a real franchise, and the language they use when they were trolling him, it's just very visual, because it makes Miyamoto seem like he was waiting for Chris the entire time out in the rain, while Chris Chan was being Chris Chan and just being lazy. JK Productions, I do think they were also like Miyamoto, but they did a little bit more, so I'm gonna put them in A tier as well. Yeah, Joshua Martinez, probably C tier, maybe D tier, because he's just, you could technically put him in Fake Love, but C tier. Jack Thaddeus, C tier. Probably one of my more favourite trolls, the Magical Man, because we don't really know anything about him. He's appeared physically in one Chris Chan video, and then as the cameraman in a second. But it is because of him we got to actually see the fully inside Chris Chan's room. So for that reason, I'm going to put him in B tier, because he managed to infiltrate the Dragon's Den. The one and only Surfshark T.O., probably S tier as well. This man, beautiful. Evan, if I remember right, probably C tier. Alec Benson Leary, my man. Probably out of all the major trolls, one of the better ones. He actually tried to talk to Chris and understand him, and I think it was in his call we actually got to see the start of the multiverse theory, as Chris Chan said, that he believed comic book characters and all that were in a different dimension, which at the time confused Alec, as in confused all of us. But because of him and him, it went all out of control. Lars, my man, he loves his boats. He has DLCs for boats he doesn't even have. She, A tier. If I remember correctly, he was either played by Alec Benson Leary or Liquid Chris, and he was the boyfriend of Jackie, and he just was a parody of Chris Chan himself, similar to Liquid Chris, and it kind of reveals how Chris Chan latches on at everything or anything he can in order to become something, because slowly throughout the call, he starts to talk more like Lars, because they made Lars a walking stereotype. So by Chris Chan doing this, it kind of shows how he's really, not aware of his situation, as well as, being kind of pathetic. And the man in the pickle suit, Chris Chan's worst enemy, Pickle Tier. This man is the greatest of all time. He pulled away Emily from Chris. He even got stopped by a random pedestrian. He's my favourite troll. He's one of my favourite trolls, I should say, next to, probably these four, not you. Not you, you're the bottom. Alright, so there's my Chris Chan troll tier list. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. So that's about it.